About surd. When we say surd, what's the meaning of surd? Surd is just the square root of a rational number, not a rational number and not a perfect square number. That's why we say the square root of, let's assume that we have a square root of 4 or square root of 9. These things here, they are not surd. Why can't we call them surd? Because they are whole number. When you find their square root, it will give you a perfect number without a decimal. Now, if you find the square root of any number and you are getting decimals, those numbers are said to be what? They are said to be surd. So that means from here, we can say that rules of surd quickly. So the rules of surd are just very simple. The first rule says that b root a plus c root a can give us what? The summation of the coefficients, that's b plus c into bracket and multiplied by the square root of a. Why? Because a is common to both, hence I can bring one of it, then I can add their coefficients. That's rule 1. This same thing can also be applied to the subtraction part, that's rule 3, that we say a minus c or square root b. A minus c or square root b. Now this rule 2 is telling us that if you have two surds separately, you cannot add them and call them one surd. That is that a square root of a plus square root of b is not equal to or square root of a plus b. Let's test that. Let's assume that a equals to 2 and b equals to 3. So what's square root of a plus square root of b? Will it be the same thing as square root of a plus b? A plus b. That means you can say square root of 2 plus square root of 3 separately, add it, what do you get? And also do the square root of a plus that's 2 plus 3. That's what I'm doing. The square root of 2 plus the square root of 3, that will give me 3.12 3.15. Now, why the square root of 3 plus 2, which is the same thing as square root of 5, that will give us 2 point something. That will give us 2.24. 2.24. You can see that those two values, they are different. That's why they say square root of a plus square root of b is not equal to square root of a plus b. Now moving to rule 3 that I've explained rule 3 before. Now this rule 4 is the same thing as, before I take this rule 4, I would like to take rule 5 first. Now taking this rule 5, we say square root of a over square root of b equals to root ab over b. How did I do this? This rule 5 is actually called the rationalization of surd. When we say rationalization, what does rationalization means? It simply means that from here, as in from this point, let's assume that I have any value. Then I have maybe square root of 3 divided by square root of 8. Yes, we can say square root of 3 divided by this 8 can be written as square root of 4 times 2, and that then equals to 3 square root of 3 divided by 2 root 3, 2 root 2 rather, because the square root of 4 is 2. That's how we bring this 2 out, and this square root. Now find the rationalization. That means you are multiplying by the what? Denominator. That's 2 root 2 divided by 2 root 2. Don't go and divide this, please. So what are we going to have? 2 times invisible 1 here, that's 2 root 3 times root 2, that's 6 divided by 2 times 2 is 4, and then root 2 times root 2 is 2, and then we have what? From here we have 2 root 6 over 8. Now as we have used the rules earlier, will I get the answer? Remember, the rule states that square root of a divided by square root of b is equals to square root of ab divided by b. That means for me I can say square root of ab, since my a in this place is standing for 3 and my b is standing for 8, so square root of ab will be square root of ab, that's 3 times 8, which is 24, divided by ordinary b, which is 8. So let's finish this. Am I going to guess what I actually got here? Okay, that will be square root of 24 can be written as 12 times 2. Or we should just say 8 times 3. Yes, divided by 8. And square root of 8 is the same thing as 2 into root 2 times 3 divided by 8, and that then equals to 2 divided by 8 root 6. 2 divided by 8 root 6. That also have here 2 divided by 8 root 6. That means this rule here is standing. Now coming for root 4. Root 4 here is just like the same thing, but it is called rationalization of surd. What's the meaning of rationalization of surd? It simply means that when I have algebraic sign in my denominator for surd, I need to change the sign whenever I want to rationalize, which means what they are trying to say is that if I have square root of 2 plus square root of 3 divided by square root of 2 minus square root of 3, this thing here is the same thing as, according to the rule, if I come to the rule here, so I say a plus b. What's my a? A is 2, b is 3. So a plus b will be 5. Then let's say plus 2ab, 2 times 2, 4, 4 times 3, 12, plus 12 divided by let's say divided by a minus b, which is a minus b is then minus 1, which means my final answer there will be minus 5 minus 12, and that's then equals to minus 17. Okay, I'll still solve more questions. No, we'll solve more questions on this. I'm going to explain this better. And the last part of it, I said square root of a times square root of a is equals to a, which means that whenever you have roots of the same number, you want to multiply it. When you multiply it together, you get what? You get just one of it, which means square root of a times square root of a simply means square root of a square. Square, we cancel the square roots, and then you are finally left with ordinary a. Now let's move to problem solving.